अस्सलाम वालेकुम नाज़रीन, मैं हूं नवीद वड़ाइच आपकी खिदमत में एक नया एपिसोड लेकर हाज़िर हुआ हूं। आज इस एपिसोड में आप मुख्तलिफ़ लोगों से मुलाकात करेंगे। पिछले कुछ माह में हमारी कम्युनिटी से बहुत सारे कैंडिडेट्स आगे आ रहे हैं, मुख्तलिफ़ पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ में वो सर्व कर रहे हैं और हमने देखा कि जो हमारे लोकल बीसी के इलेक्शन हुए उनमें भी हमारी कम्युनिटी काफ़ी हद तक आगे आई और हमने अपने कैंडिडेट्स देखे। अब फेडरल इलेक्शंस पास आ रहे हैं और बहुत सारे जो हमारे अपनी कम्युनिटी के मेंबर्स हैं वो कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि वो भी इस दौड़ में हिस्सा लें। आज हम एक ऐसी ही शख्सियत से मुलाकात करेंगे जो कि हमारी कम्युनिटी से हैं और वो उन्होंने काफ़ी खिदमत की है अपनी कम्युनिटी के हवाले से अगर बात की जाए। और अगर लोकल पॉलिटिक्स की बात की जाए तो वो पॉलिटिक्स में नई नहीं हैं, लेकिन बहुत सारी कम्युनिटी के लिए ये शायद नए हों। आज हमने सोचा कि आपकी मुलाकात उनसे करवाएं और उनसे एक छोटा सा तारफ़ आपसे कराया जाए ताकि उनसे बातचीत की जाए कि वो क्या करना चाह रहे हैं, उनके क्या ख़यालात हैं पॉलिटिक्स के लिए। तो एक छोटी सी मुलाकात होगी। ये हैं बांग्लादेशी कम्युनिटी से ये ताल्लुक़ रखते हैं, काफ़ी देर से ये यहाँ पे मुकीम है और अपनी लोकल कम्युनिटी की खिदमत कर रहे हैं। बांग्लादेश में ये ख़ुद भी मेंबर पार्लियामेंट रहे हैं और यहाँ भी ये आप पॉलिटिक्स में अपना कदम आगे करना चाह रहे हैं। तो इनसे मुलाकात होगी और उसके बाद आप जानते हैं कि आजकल जो हालात हाज़रा पर अगर रोशनी डाली जाए तो यहाँ पे सरी में लोकली हमने देखा कि बहुत सारी जो हमारी मसाजिद हैं उनके सामने एक एंटी इस्लामिक स्लोगन टाइप ग्राफिटी नज़र आई और बहुत सारी कम्युनिटी हमारी जो है उसके ऊपर वो बात भी कर रही है और हमारे जो पॉलिटिकल लोग हैं वो भी बात कर रहे हैं और इसके साथ साथ हमारे जो रिलीजियस लीडर्स हैं वो भी बात कर रहे हैं। हम एक छोटी सी गैदरिंग में शामिल थे और आज हमने कुछ लोगों के तासरात भी रिकॉर्ड किए हैं। हम आपको ईद की भी मुबारकबाद देना चाहेंगे और हम ख्वाहिश करेंगे कि जितने नाज़रीन हमारा ये प्रोग्राम देखते हैं उन सब को बहुत बहुत दिल की अथाह गहराइयों से ईद की मुबारक और अल्लाह करे कि आप की ईद ये बहुत ही खुशगवार गुज़रे और आप की ये ईद सेफ़ भी गुज़रे। हम जानते हैं कि कुछ जो रिस्ट्रिक्शंस हैं वो लिफ्ट हुई हैं और आप एक दूसरे के घर आज़ादी से जा भी सकते हैं और गले भी मिल सकते हैं। तो हम कोशिश करेंगे कि अपने प्लेटफॉर्म से एक ईद का ख़ुसूसी पैकेज भी तैयार करें और वो इंशाअल्लाह हम कोशिश करेंगे कि ईद के दिन या ईद के एक दो दिन बाद आप वो हमारा पैकेज भी देखें। चलिए नाज़रीन, अब हम चलते हैं सैयद मोहसिन से एक छोटी सी मुलाकात करते हैं और देखते हैं कि वो क्या कह रहे हैं अपने बारे में।
Thank you so much, Naveed, for having me. It is wonderful to be here. My name is Syed Mohsin, and my wife Rushi and my son Shaz, we came here exactly on 26th of September 1998. We originally moved from Bangladesh, but fortunately I had the opportunity to stay in Texas for almost 10 years. I was a student there. Then from there in 1990 I went back to Bangladesh, got married, started my business, and then we decided to come to Canada. And I have started my career manufacturing garments in Bangladesh. I used to own a small factory and from there I built up my business. At this moment I'm doing the same thing except for I don't have the factory. I just import from Bangladesh, China, places like that, and distribute to my clients here in all across Canada, fortunately. I was born in such a family where I have been groomed by my father. My father is a self-made man. He was very unfortunate to lose his father at a very young age. So he had to start working for living at a very, very young age, I should say. And he had this sadness in his mind that he was not able to finish his education. So he made sure that we go to a good school. So he invested a lot of money on us, and I was put to a boarding school in Dhaka, Bangladesh. So I have learned many things from there. And eventually, after becoming a very successful businessman, my dad decided to join in politics. And he was elected 5 times from one of the riding in Dhaka city. And eventually he was a deputy mayor of Dhaka city. And because I grew up in a political environment, that actually inspired me to get involved with the people's, I should say, to a social work. Because I have seen my father, if someone calls him at 3 o'clock in the morning, he would get up and he would go and try to help that person for whatever reason. So I idolized my father, and he always advised us to be focused, to finish the education, and if we want it, we have the liberty to get involved in politics. And that's how when I personally went back from States to Bangladesh, there was an opportunity. And fortunately, I was able to get the nomination, and I was elected MP from the same riding at a very young age when I was 30 years old. So, and I'm very fortunate to have my family members and my wife especially, because all of them helped me out tremendously in my campaign in Bangladesh. The experience I had in Bangladesh has been great, because as we all know that is a developing country. So we have, the population is tremendously dense, especially in Dhaka city. The riding I represented, I had almost probably more than 2.5 million people in my riding. So every single day you wake up, you would find out not in tens or 20s and hundreds of people at your doorsteps. So I had to deal with each and every person, solving their problem. On a personal level, in fact. But in Canada, it's a little bit different. I should say much more different than the experience I had back in Bangladesh. Here is all policy oriented. And I think it is extremely important to know all the policies, like what parties are having what kind of policies, because one single policy can impact your life. So that is very, very important. Here, we don't have to deal with an individual problem too much, because fortunately, this is one of the richest country in the world, and I think we are very fortunate to be part of this country. But it will not be the same if we don't take a proper policy. So I think that is what I'm mainly focused on, because I think my Western education helped me out to be more focused. And if we all put our minds and our strengths together in what kind of policies are being taken by the government or by any single party, that has a lot of influence on our income, on our living, and of course for our future generation. So that was a great experience. And when I came to this country, I found this is a great place to live. But we have to make this place even a better place. And one of the ways to make this place a better place for us and for our children is to get involved in the mainstream politics, is to get involved in the system. I was fortunate enough to meet a gentleman named Anthony Norfolk. He is an Englishman, a lawyer. He was involved with BC Liberal Party. So I was actually, he encouraged me in a sense to get involved. So because of that, I got involved with BC Liberal politics, and I have knocked many doors, I should say thousands of doors. I was a media chair for Rob Niger when he ran from Burnaby riding. I worked for Patty Sahota, and eventually through that process I came to know Miss Christy Clark when she was the education minister. I invited her in one of her functions. My wife and I, we used to organize many functions in Lower Mainland. We have done many social work in our community, but my main goal was not to have everything just confined within our community. I wanted our community people to go out, to see the entire Canada, to see the system. I have always encouraged them to come forward, to take the ownership of this country, because at the end of the day, we are all Canadian, and we have to make sure that this is not only our country, but we need to own this country. So in all of my events that I have organized, I have always encouraged all the community people, and fortunately now I can see not only our generation, but also the younger generation, they're coming forward. They are started thinking what is good, what is bad for them. They are actually trying to figure out the best way possible to get involved. So as a result, my involvement with BC Liberty Party has been almost like more than 15 years. Recently, I have worked for my Surrey Guildford Riding Association, and I am the secretary of my Surrey Guildford Riding Association. We live in a multicultural society, and if I'm not wrong, then I believe Canada has declared this country as a multicultural country in 1971. So that means we all, no matter where we come from, we may come from Bangladesh, from Ethiopia, from Pakistan, from India, from Europe, or elsewhere, we all are, at the end of the day, we all are Canadian. And that is very important. Now, it is very obvious that we grew up in a certain culture, we speak in certain language, but that's not the point. The point is, at the end of the day, we are all Canadian. But having said that, I think we have to learn how to live with peace and harmony among all the communities. That is very, very important. Now, for example, if I come from a certain country, yes, of course, I will have my feelings for that culture. I will have my feelings for that language or for certain kind of food. And that is the beauty of this country, because we all come from different parts of the world, bringing all the different languages, different food, different culture. And at the end of the day, it blends in together into the society. And at the end of the day, we become Canadian. And that is the beauty of Canada, because different food, different culture, different language, different thoughts, different religion, it brings textures and colors to a total life. And we admire all of these. And we also have to coordinate our local issues with the national issues. Meaning, we may have problem in our community for certain thing, and that problem and the national policy has to resonate. Only then we can solve our problem and we can go forward. And I think that is very important. Like I'm saying, I don't like to ignore our small community matter. On the other hand, I also want that small community matter should be actually taken seriously or should be addressed in a national level. So I don't like to profile a certain word or a word like Islamophobia. What I think is a problem. And I don't think a certain group or a certain policy is doing anything against any particular religion. It's an individual. That individual might be misinformed, or a certain a group of people who has this kind of hatred towards certain religion or towards certain culture. I think they are ignored people. So what needs to be addressed, they need to be informed. If we find, okay, fine, a certain group of people or an individual is doing something derogatory, doing something negative for a certain religion, that means that person is ignored about the religion, he does not know. So we need to make sure, not from a religious point of view, but also from a cultural point of view, whether you're Islam, whether you're Sikh, whether you're Christian, Catholic, does not matter. So I think every religion talks about good things. I have not seen any religion that talks about bad things. The only matter is some group may be misinformed because they think their religion is better than the other religion, or they're scared, or they feel insecure. Let's say, for example, if we see tomorrow a group of people coming from a certain continent and they have a different religion and their rituality may be different than ours. So as a Muslim or as a Christian, they might be scared because they don't know about the religion. So the main idea is to make those people, those ignored people, informed that, listen, this is what it's all about. So there is nothing to be scared. It is like you are practicing your religion and I'm practicing my religion. That is number one. Number two, if this kind of situation arises, and I'm not saying it will not arise, it will. There will be always some kind of people who will take negative steps towards certain religion or towards certain culture. And there is a law and order. So we need to coordinate any issues with the law and order institution, inform them, make them understand, and then take this matter very seriously. So we have to work from every single angle. We have to work either, like I said, to inform them, having more literature handed out, or we can use social media to inform them, as well as we can work with the law and order enforcement agency to make sure that those people who are doing this, they are actually taken into, they're taken into account, and take proper steps from their point of view. As I mentioned that I grew up in a political family, and I am used to seeing many people coming out to our house, and I've seen my mom cooking for them. I've seen my brothers and sisters taking care of all these people. So I am a people person. I grew up in that manner. And fortunately, I have the right partner who has helped me out in my election when I was in Dhaka, and who always supports me and encouraged me. When I came to this country, I tried to organize with my Bangladeshi community people many events. I'm a people person. But I feel there are many ways we can help each other out. You know, we can be a social worker, we can be a journalist or whatever. But politics is one of the area I think that provides you a greater opportunity to be with the more people, to serve your people. So I have chosen to get involved in politics, like I said, because it's in my blood. I have grown up in this situation, and in this country, it is very important because I always encourage people from all walks of life to come forward and to get involved with the policy making. That is the only way you can get your opinion out. So fortunately, since I've been a businessman for last 30 years and doing the same business over and over, fortunately I have organized my business in such a manner that I have a little bit of time on my hand. Our son got married 3 years ago. He lives in downtown Vancouver with his wife, and he's independent. So my wife and I, we have a little bit of time on our hand, and she supports me. So I believe with her support and with everybody else's support, I can get involved full-time in politics, and hopefully I can make some changes for our community and for Canada as a whole. My community is definitely the backbone of my strength. I want them to support me if I decide to pursue my political career in the future. But I don't want to be only focusing on my community. I think now I'm in Canada, the community of every corner, whether it's a South Asian community or European community or anybody in general, I like to be with all of you. So I want all the community to come forward and to support me, to help me, and hopefully together we can definitely make this place a better place to live. I'm a Surrey resident, I'm a proud Surrey resident, and I want all the Surrey residents to come forward, let's all together, work together, and I believe in inclusivity. So if we are all coming forward and putting our thoughts and ideas together, and with your support, I have no doubt that we can make this place a much better and safer place to live for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me. My name is Razia Mohsin. My husband is Syed Mohsin. I have one son. We are a happy family. He is very much loving. He is very careful, very caring, very loving, and also he is very social person. He is really wonderful person. So and also he is a political person, because our family, my in-laws, they are everybody political. So they always like to do lot of things in socially, very attachment, and they do lot of work over there. So that's why he likes to do here also. I always help him. Because I like to do this, because I'm also the same person. I do lot of work in my country, not here, but I do lot of function here. And Pahela Boishak, for the first time I do Pahela Boishak celebration here. So everybody appreciate this thing. Mohsin, my husband, he is a very helpful person. Always he likes to do lot of things, lot of community people. Whenever late night somebody call my husband, he just wake up and just run away. So that's why I'm so glad that he always ready for someone, our community people, and our community needs a person to do this. Because lot of things we want to do something for our community people. Yeah. So they like to know that yes, our country, our family person, our family members here. He went to convent, so he know how to cook, he know how to clean it up. So I don't have to tell him to do this, do that. I like him so much because he very much care for me, very much care for. The first thing, his priority, his wife and his son. That's it. His world, his family first, then after everything. বাংলাদেশের ছেলে মহসিন, সৈয়দ মোহাম্মদ মহসিন, আমি তার স্ত্রী রাজিয়া মহসিন। আমি বলবো আপনাদের কাছে মহসিন এসছে আপনাদের জন্য, এখন আপনারা তাকে মানে সাপোর্ট করবেন এটাই আশা করব, এবং আপনারা ভালো জানবেন মহসিন কি, সেটা আমার বলে দেবার কিছু নেই, এটা আপনাদের ছেলে, আপনারা দেখবেন।
For new residential construction, if you're looking to design your dream home, we will work alongside you to build your dream house. Any renovation addition you would like to add to your existing home, we will handle all permitting and bylaws with the city. Contact us for all your architectural drawing needs.
Listen, Naveed, graffiti is something that is written down. It's done by coward or cowards. Okay? At the same time, we see Islamophobia. ये दूर-दूर की बातें होती थी, अब करीब-करीब आती जा रही हैं। पिछले महीने हमने सुना था कि लंदन में कि फैमिली को पूरी को उन्होंने बिल्कुल ही ख़त्म कर दिया। अब हम ये चीज़ें जो हैं, साइंस वगैरह जो हैं, इधर हम अपने इलाके में देख रहे हैं। No one should be alarmed. Islamophobia is a very, very well oiled sector industry. Okay, there's people amongst us that don't like us, and over the last few years they've been empowered. They know, whether they were empowered or inspired by people down south, political leadership, whether they're inspired by others that are propagating hate and bigotry. We've seen this. We know it's there. We need to be vigilant. We need to be aware. We need to report. We need to talk amongst ourselves, and we need to strengthen our bonds as a community, because the only way that we can tackle Islamophobia is if we strengthen our bonds as a community, and we ensure that we demand leadership from our political folks. We demand leadership and impact, an effective impact, from our law enforcement agencies. We need to be vigilant at our masjids, at our homes, at our madrasas, at our schools. We need to remain vigilant all the time, and we need to strengthen the bonds of the community. This stuff is going to stick around. We'll never eliminate it. We'll beat it back, but we will do it, and we will do it when we show unity. It'll hurt those causes that are trying to destroy us. That's what we need to do.
We always think that Canada is a very diverse place where racism doesn't exist, but it does. It's just very inner, and we're not as vocal about it. So when we go to the masjid and we see vandalizations like that, we have to unite. The Muslim community has to unite for one goal. We have to provide services for Muslims, educate non-Muslims, and we have to, like, for example, the person who ran over the Muslim family, he was 20 years old. So it's not about age. We think that the older people have these thoughts and have this backwards, headspace and system, but no, it's younger people as well. So I think just providing, working with organizations to provide different programs to educate everyone, and it's about unity. If we're united and we know our stance and we have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the end of the day by our side, so if we have that confidence in our deen, I think nothing can stand in our way. Our masajids should have been open a long time ago for everyone, and we would encourage interfaith activities. Even in university, I was with the MSA, and we had a lot of interfaith, and with discussions like that, it broke stereotypes and all of those things. So I think definitely we have to open the masajids, show them who we are, what we do, and at the end of the day, everything everything is dawah. So it would benefit us at the end.
So in our community, to be involved in good humanitarian works, not just for Muslims, but for all communities, in solidarity with our First Nations, the Black community, Asian, Sikh and Hindu, and even Caucasian community, that we are part of society, and Ummah is all of humanity, not just Muslims, and for us to be shoulder to shoulder on humanitarian causes that benefit everybody. And the other thing is online disinformation, online hate is very prevalent and is presenting a version of Islam that is false. So that is what's driving a lot of real world violence. So what we need to do is we need to have the counter narrative, which is the truth, that Muslims are compassionate, Muslims are productive members of society, and Muslims help everybody, not just Muslims. So these are some things, and to counter the online disinformation, we have to do all our parts online and offline.
You know, I mean, the first reaction is anger. You know, we're very upset, and but at the same time, we also have to, you know, pray that people have hidayah, that they get understanding. Because at the end of the day, we're all people. No matter what your religion is, we're all human beings of the same human family. We also have to think about the example of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he would be insulted, he would be attacked, he would have the worst things said about him. Yet he held himself in such a way that the people who attacked him came to love him. And so it's your character, and it's not what happens to you, it's how you deal with it. So yes, we're angry, we're upset, we're going to talk to the police, talk to the politicians, do the community engagement, but at the same time, we have to reflect the character of our Nabi, as well as the ideals and the direction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to show that, hey, we're in this community, we're in this life together, we're in this world together, and we have to go and come together as a human family to make the world a better place. People who try to sow division or try to make confrontation, it's a game for them, and it's a very dangerous game. At the end of the day, we don't turn our other cheek. We do at sometimes, but at some point, we will fight back. We will defend ourselves. There's no question about it. But at the same time, we look to any of those people who are doing bad things or saying bad things. We have to confront them. Sometimes forcefully, but for the most part diplomatically. And we need to go and ensure that our representations within the communities lifts us up as a people. You know, we cannot stoop to those levels. So at the same time, where people have been putting graffiti on our mosques, people have been burning down Catholic churches for what has happened 100 years ago. That's totally wrong too. Burning down churches because you're upset about the treatment of Indigenous people goes against what the Indigenous people even believe, or what other religions believe. So, you know, any attack on anybody is an attack on one, is an attack on all of us. So we have to be mindful. We have to think. Islam is for people who actually think. We are people of understanding. Let's live up to that standard. Let's understand what's going on, and then in turn craft a response that's in keeping with the traditions of the Prophet, the Sunnah, and inshallah for the common good of society. We're always ready for Eid. We're ready for every day. We're ready for every moment. You know, these things happen. You know, like you look at that masjid, the Suri Masjid, the big masjid where there was graffiti. You know, before that masjid was made, a Molotov cocktail was thrown into the original building that was that masjid, and it burnt to the ground. It was destroyed. Now that masjid was gone, but what happened in that terrible incident? Something new came from it. A beautiful masjid was raised from it. So God knows. God knows what happens. So these incidents that happen, there is some good in it. As bad as it may feel, as devastating as it may be, there is some good. So we have to look at that. So inshallah, Allah knows best. But again, be vigilant, be mindful, be careful, and be united. Inshallah. Thank you. Kamar Mubarak and Eid Mubarak to everybody. Thank you.